Welcome to Bryer Showcase. I am Bryer and welcome back to another video. And it's been a bit since my last series. The last one I did was when I went through my entire CD collection, which, spanned a couple episodes. And I feel the time is right to do another one. I'm not sure this will get as many views as that series, but should still be pretty fun. So what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be naming 100 of my favorite songs of all time. You've heard that correct, 100 songs. Of course, I'm not going to do it in one episode. I'm probably just going to go ahead and name 10 of them, and we'll keep going down until we get to 1. So in this episode, we're going to go from 100 to 91. So I want this list to be really representative of who I am. And so what I did was I only picked one song by a band and artist, just so we keep getting lots of diversity. Because if I were to be honest and give my honest list, like 20% of this will be Queen, and like maybe 6% will be Styx, maybe 3% will be Journey, and it will get repetitive a lot of the time. So again, I wanted to keep it very diverse, and so one song per artist and band. So should be pretty interesting. I got a lot of stuff in here, so to give you a heads up, there's lots of pop, there's R&B, there's rock and metal, of course. Let's see, some synth pop. I even included some songs that were from movies and TV shows, so that should be interesting. So hopefully you're excited for this like I am. And of course, it goes without saying that this is my opinion. Of course, we all have our own tastes. So if there's a song where you feel like, oh my god, I can't believe you ranked this above this, or oh my god, I can't believe you like this song in general, then again, this is my list. So if you want to play along, of course, you can comment below, and you can also comment your thoughts on these first 10. So that's pretty much all I got to say. So without further ado, let's do this. So of course, we're starting with 100, and my 100th favorite song is Huh? Oh no, that's not a joke. That really is my 100th favorite song. Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. Yes, number 100 is Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, of course, coming from this album, Whenever You Need Somebody. Of course, yes, this song is considered a joke, a meme, you name it. It's corny, it's cheesy, very 80s, and honestly, that's kind of why I love it so much. Like I knew it was a meme first before I knew it was an actual song. But it wasn't until like a couple years later I got a little bit of Rick Astley kick. I don't know why, but after hearing Never Gonna Give You Up a lot, I wanted to kind of delve a little bit deeper. And there were some songs, especially from this album, that are actually pretty good. Yes, it's 80s sounding. Yeah, it's dated, but it's fun. The song itself is catchy. I mean, with that synth line, you just can't get it out of your head. So again, I can see why people not liking this song, but I enjoy this for what it is, and it's a great song. And Rick Astley has a great voice, very low but very memorable. So number 100 is Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. So now let's head to my number 99. Save the Best for Last by Vanessa Williams. So we've jumped from the 80s to the 90s. Of course, the song came from this album right here, The Comfort Zone. And I've mentioned this before, but I believe it was during one of my CD haul videos where I talked about Taylor Dayne, and some of the songs I knew from her were from this infomercial where they kind of were promoting this compilation CD collection. And yep, that song appeared here. So yeah, it's a slow 90s ballad, and god dang, I'm a sucker for those, I can't lie. I mean, I love her vocals on here. Like, she delivered it really well, and it may be her biggest song ever, if I'm going to be honest, but yeah, if that's the only song she's going to be remembered for, then I think that's a good one to be known, because it's a great song. I really enjoy this. I listen to it very often. So, yep, number 99 is Save the Best for Last by Vanessa Williams. So now we head to 98. Who can say where the road goes? Only Time by Enya. So now we head to Enya, and if you were to ask me when I was like maybe 9 or 10, I would have said this was my favorite song of all time. My history with the song is kind of interesting though, because I first heard the song when I graduated from 5th grade, I believe. And during the ceremony, you know, you're graduating from 5th grade to middle school. And the song we sang was a version of Only Time. Of course, it wasn't the original song. The teachers kind of reworded it to be more school themed. I can't remember any of the lyrics, so don't ask me how it went. But that was kind of where I heard the melody. And then I believe my mom I think I asked my mom about the song, and she actually found it for me. And for a good while, like, I played the song nonstop. So again, this is another song I hold dear to my heart. It's a very beautiful song. It's very somber. It kind of has a melancholic tone to it, but I really enjoyed it. Even the parts where she's kind of just like she's singing, but she's not really saying words. It's kind of just singing along to the melody, and I had no idea what she was singing about, but I enjoyed it anyway. And so the song has a special place in my heart. It's obviously gone down a lot, but again, I couldn't leave this out of the top 100. So Only Time by Enya is my number 98. So now we head to 97. Layla by Derek and the Dominoes. So finally we get some rock, and of course we're talking about the song from this album right here. Again, it starts with that killer guitar riff, and Eric sounds great. Dwayne Allman sounds fantastic, and I mean the two of them together they sound really good together. Eric's vocals are pretty good as well. And what's interesting about the lyrics is it's of course about Patty Boyd, which was George Harrison's wife at the time, which was kind of awkward, but you know, they somehow patched things up, surprisingly. But yeah, it's a great song. I love the rock half, and then I also really enjoy the more piano-led second half, which is just beautiful. I can see people saying that it kind of goes on a bit too long, but I'm not one of them. I think that section could go on longer, and I wouldn't care at all. So yep, had to put this on here. So that's Layla, Derek and the Dominoes. Now let's head to my number 96. Can't Get It Out of My Head by Electric Light Orchestra. Now, I originally had a different ELO song on the list, but kind of last minute, I remembered this song, and yep, I think that topped it for me. So again, Can't Get Out of My Head by ELO, coming from this album, which is El Dorado. Just a really beautiful song. It's a bit slow. It's not too rocking, but I just love the vocal melody by Jeff Lynne on here. It's just something mesmerizing about it. And I mean, musically is also very captivating as well. It's like this. It's one of those songs I can't really describe. It's just so well crafted that it's a song you just can't get out of your head. So, hence the name of the song, I guess. But yeah, so I know I'm doing a terrible job at explaining why these songs are near the bottom or at this point in the list, but I mean, really, there's no, like, it can go either way. Like, honestly, go check out these songs if you haven't yet. But yeah, number 96 is Can't Get Out of My Head by ELO. Go check it out if you have not heard it before. So now let's head to my number 95, which is Hysteria by Def Leppard. So now we moved back into the 80s and we're talking about the title track of this beast of an album. Of course, my mom was pretty big into this album when it came out. She was a big Def Leppard fan, and of course that rubbed off on me. I believe she actually saw them on the tour, I think. It might be Pyromania, one of those two. I know she was bottom line, she was a big Def Leppard fan. And I chose Hysteria, and that might be an odd choice because, you know, Def Leppard had some other pretty big songs. Of course, yeah, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Love Bites, Rock of Ages, Photograph, Bring On the Heartbreak. But I went with Hysteria. And really, it's because that's the song I go to the most. It's kind of a more mid-tempo song. It doesn't really go fast or anything. It's not too slow either. It just keeps a nice even pace throughout. And I just really like the melody. It goes back to the melody. I just really enjoy the overall melody of the song. You know, Joe Elliott has a great vocal performance on here. Again, it's not mind-blowing, but it just fits perfectly with the song, and the guitar work kind of elevates it too. Again, there's no crunchy guitar riffs or shredding guitar solos. It's just a nice, good, pleasant sounding song that I can just play whenever, and I just don't get bored of. So Hysteria by Def Leppard may not be everyone's favorite song by them, but I think it's a pretty underrated of their singles. So that's my pick for my number 95. And now let's head over to my number 94.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you.
Maggie May by Rod Stewart. Of course, I gotta get some Rod Stewart on the list, and Maggie May comes from this album right here, Every Picture Tells a Story, which is a great folk rock album. Definitely recommend you check it out. You know, Rod Stewart has like two different sides. There are the folk rock fans, and then there's the more poppy fans of Rod Stewart. I'm kind of somewhere in between, but yeah, the folk rock era is very special for what it is. So Maggie May was a single off here and is a classic folk rock number. And I just love how the acoustic guitars, there's even mandolin on here during the bridge, which sounds incredible. And of course, Rod Stewart, just a great vocalist. I've always loved his like natural rasp he has. Very bluesy, very folky, which sounds really good. And of course, the song itself, lyrically, is quite interesting because it's just him telling about, from what I've read, an actual true story of his first sexual encounter with a older woman. So that's pretty interesting to find out. So, yeah, Maggie May, Rod Stewart, go check it out. Great stuff. So now let's head to my number 93.
Sweet child in time, you'll see the line.
Child in Time by Deep Purple. I've shown this album a few times already. As you know, as of right now, this is my favorite Deep Purple album in rock. And Child in Time is the third song on here. And it's 10 minutes long, so it's not a short song, but it's an epic of a song. Because obviously this is the first album with Ian Gillan on vocals, and god dang does he really make an entrance, to say the least. And Child in Time kind of really encapsulates what Ian Gillan was all about. Really shows off his range. I mean, the song starts out very slow, kind of a brooding type of mood. Then Ian comes in, he's very low, kind of just telling a little story. And then at some point he kind of starts saying words and just says ooh, which is kind of using that falsetto, which sounds great. And then all of a sudden the song starts to build, and now Ian's just screaming, and he's pretty high scream, and when you think he can't go any higher, the song builds again, and then he's just shrieking and just really putting all of his soul into it. And then finally, after that, the song kind of explodes and goes to this big jam session. You know, Ian Pace just going ham on the drums, and of course, Richie Blackmore giving this insane guitar solo, and then finally it finally just settles down. It goes back into that slow, kind of almost melancholic mood, and then Ian starts singing the same thing he did in the beginning, and then they do the whole screaming, and then it finally comes to a close in this big cacophony. I hope I said that right. Cacophony of sound. I'm not sure if I said that word right, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's an epic song, and I might as well also mention the live version from Made in Japan. That's also a good one. So either one of those you can go check out. But regardless, Child in Time by Deep Purple, epic song, love it. Let's go to my number 92. Tangled Up in Blue by Bob Dylan. Hey look, I'm wearing a Bob Dylan shirt. What a coincidence. I totally didn't plan this or nothing. Anyhow, so Tangled Up in Blue, coming from Blood on the Tracks, which is a great album. Probably my favorite Bob Dylan album, possibly. I don't know, I haven't heard everything he's done yet, but this is a pretty damn good album. And Tangled Up in Blue is the one that kicks off the album, and just an absolutely terrific song. I mean, lyrically, it's just this song is the song I go to when people say, like, people ask like what makes Bob Dylan a great lyricist. Like, to me, Tangled Up in Blue is my pick, because it really just shows his storytelling, just how he phrases things, how he describes certain scenarios, which is just masterfully done. Like, he was a poet at heart. Like, he was like a poet first and musician second, I feel. And even the music itself really fits what he's trying to go for. And again, it's kind of very straightforward. It's just about a guy trying to go and win back a girl, and the song kind of tells you about the history he has with this person. And you know, it's not like a linear story too. There's flashbacks. It goes back to the present. So it's a very well done, well thought out song lyrically. And you know, Bob Dylan has his haters, I guess. You know, there's people who don't like his vocals. They don't think he's a good musician, but I don't really mind that. I think he does great for what he does with what he can. He's very talented, and I absolutely love this song. So Tangled Up in Blue by Bob Dylan is my number 92. And now let's close this episode off with my number 91. Space Age Love Song by A Flock of Seagulls. Okay, I can already see people thinking to themselves, how the heck did I put A Flock of Seagulls above Bob Dylan, Deep Purple, Rod Stewart, ELO? And the only thing I can say is, it's my list. That's all I gotta say. But anyhow, yeah, Space Age Love Song by A Flock of Seagulls. Now, normally when people think of A Flock of Seagulls, they only think of the one big song they had, which of course is I Ran, which is also a pretty good song, I'm not gonna lie. But Space Age Love Song, to me, I prefer more than I Ran, honestly, because I just kind of like the overall atmosphere of it, because I like the guitar on the song. And you know, I Ran has some pretty good guitar work in that song, but Space Age Love Song is the one I go to because I just love the tone of it. I just love the effects on it. It just sounds very cool, and you know, it has a great melody. It's very catchy, and the vocals, you know, again, nothing mind-blowing in terms of the vocals, but definitely has a great tone to it. And the lead singer, he's pretty good. Again, nothing amazing, but from what the song's trying to do, I think he does a good job. And I think it's a great pop song, a very underrated song, I must say, from the 80s. I think it definitely needs more attention. So yeah, 91. Space Age Love Song by A Flock of Seagulls. I'd say definitely one of the more underrated songs of the 80s, in my opinion. And on that note, let's end it there. So that's 100 to 91 of my 100 favorite songs of all time. Again, in the comments below, let me know your thoughts. If you want to join along and name some of your favorite songs and then keep naming them as we go along, that's great as well. So I look forward to what the series has to offer. I look forward to some of your reactions to it, because I can't please everybody. So anyhow, thank you for very much watching. If you enjoy this, please give it a like, subscribe, you know the drill, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and goodbye for now.